Welcome to Typically Unique. Today I am covering the court hearing that is the mainstream media's motion to release the gag order before the next hearing. So I'm expecting this to probably be quick. Brian Enton released that he had heard rumblings. He'll always let us know, word on the street, things they're hearing behind the scenes. And he shared that the word was that the prosecution didn't have an issue with releasing the gag order early. So hopefully that's the case. And hi, Meg. How are you? Hi, babe. So I hope they release it early. Because after the next hearing, when they have the sentencing, they're going to want to catch everybody. Everybody's going to be at the courthouse, right? So they're going to want to catch everybody on the way out. Hopefully attorneys will give statements. I want some of the key players to be able to come out and speak. Maybe set all of our suspicions at ease a little bit, answer some of our questions. Is there still a reason for us to be on guard or suspicious? Or I'm finding after I read as I'm reading the Patterson book that especially when it comes to Dylan and Bethany and the roommates and the friends, that it just seems that everything that was the easiest explanation probably was the explanation. So I don't know if that's going to apply to all the major stuff. We will find out. Do you think that the gag will be lifted today? I hope it's immediate. Hi, Offie. You just woke up. Did Chelsea have a late live last night? I used to do that when I was in college. Not anymore. She did. I'll have to go check that out. So I was just asking you guys, do you think the gag's going to get lifted today? And is this only about people speaking, or is this also sealed documents? I hope it's about documents too. But with the media, well, they would want both, right? They want both. They want to verify. They want to verify stuff. Everything? Okay. Good. Good. Did I tell you I put in a FOIA request? I've never put in a FOIA request anywhere. I had Chat GPT help me. But then I had to find out, the site and everything of where to submit it. But I asked for, because I was looking, so I asked for the medical examiner's written reports. Like I didn't want graphic photos or anything like that, because I started looking into her. And do you guys know that the medical examiner has never, as far as I could find, go ahead and Google her. I forget her name. It starts with a V. She's never testified in court. I find that very odd, especially because she's in charge of, like, it's not just Latah. In fact, it's outside of Latah, and she's in charge of a very wide area, and in charge of the department and everything. So you would think, as a medical examiner, you would there has to have been some cases that have gone to court. The only thing I could find was an interview with her where she was explaining they got a new facility. I wish I could remember where it was. They got a new facility and highly upgraded, and she was explaining like her job, her department, and what they do there. So I don't know. I was just interested in that because of all the people, like, she had to explain the injuries. Was there cross contamination from one victim to the next? Things like that. Take your time and wake up, Offie. Take your time. Official, otherwise known as Skolmakai. And then we're going to have another otherwise known as someday. Grab some coffee. I just got back from the store. I had to go out and run some things. When this starts, though, I'm going to turn my camera off and just listen remotely from my phone, and then I'll come back on after. I don't like when people like talk over things, so we can all listen. Crazy with your name. So this was supposed to start 10:30. Oh, it's 10:30. Whatever Mountain Time, Pacific Time. I think they're Mountain Time in Boise. I could be wrong. So it's 12:30 Eastern Time. Meg, were you in here when I was talking about the medical examiner? Have you ever looked into her? I want to say her name's like Vera something. I know everybody's live right now, so I appreciate you guys joining me. So, yeah, I was saying, Meg, I looked her up and she's in charge of the whole department for like a huge area. I don't know if it's a county, a statewide, like what it is, but it's more than one like dinky little city area. And she's in charge, and she's never testified in court before, as far as I could find. And I just thought that was odd. And I was saying I put in a FOIA request for her records, but they told me I couldn't have them. So maybe if this gets lifted and things get released, maybe I'll try again. Yeah, that coroner job, I think that's a little bit like I would want a medical background just because of what you're going to see. Like I couldn't do it. I don't know. I couldn't stomach it. Like I would want to do it because I'm nosy and I want to like be in the know and like, see what's going on, but I couldn't. I don't think I could have handled seeing that scene, that crime scene. But the coroner pretty much just has to go in and say, "Yes, there's a death." Um, and pronounce it, I think time or something. I don't know. I've looked it up. Different states give different responsibilities or like follow different procedures. Like Moscow acted like it was perfectly fine to like go in, seal down the scene, collect evidence, and then call the coroner. That's backwards to me. They're supposed to, in a lot of states, they call the coroner first, they go in, they look at the scene, They make note of things, they declare the death, and then they turn it over to law enforcement to do their investigation. And then the medical examiner, they're like totally, more they're doing the autopsy and the reports, and I do think that a lot of times they're asked to go to the scene also. I don't know when or how, but I remember a case. What was it? What was I watching? I was watching something. No. Anyways, there was a medical examiner that they gave a hard time. Was it the Koberger case or the Karen Reed case? And they were trying to like discredit her. And she said, well, it was one of those nightclub where lots of people died at a nightclub event, and she was back setting up the office preparing for, to be inundated with all these deceased people. And she said she sent a representative. She herself didn't have to go. All right, what are we talking about? The book? Do you have the book? I'm listening to it on Audible. Although now that I've seen the layout of it, I'm like, "Ooh, maybe I will purchase it," because I like to mark pages and use sticky notes and things like that. Oh, the nightclub fire. Yes, yes, yes. Do you have the book, Meg P? I'm finding like I was an avid reader, um, and till I had like some trauma in my life, and then like that kind of like changes you a little bit. And I couldn't relax enough to sit down with a book. But now I like that I can listen to an Audible book and like clean my house or do some chores or go walking, and I can like knock out a book. Like I listened to half the book the other day and I was able to do stuff. So I enjoy that. A notebook full of notes. All right. Did you finish it? I'm on chapter like 66, I think. And I'm just listening to it the first time through just to hear it. Like I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. So then I'll go back, and I'm finding it easy to like track because it's very chronological, and I like the way he laid it out with the dates and um locations. I love that. Who needs to be sponsored? Girl, you better be sponsored. Oh, because I keep promoting it. Hey, James Patterson, where are you at? Help me publish my own book. I want to write Carlos and I want to write our story together because we have crazy things that have happened to us, to our family, our kids. And I want to write some, and that book's going to be called Typically Unique. Advertising for Audible. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Audible, call me. Stacy, I'm stuck on the part where Stacy and the family were asked to view Ethan in his coffin. I thought Stacy said he was cremated. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, in that Prime episode, whoops, the Prime docuseries, Mr. Chapin said that the ashes are in the basement. Hmm. Maybe that was before, like maybe like I know funeral homes can handle things many, many different ways. Like they could have a private viewing for the family, or they could have a viewing and then do the cremation. You have lots of options. So maybe it was something like that. Desperate True Crime Housewives. Oh my gosh, we need that reality show. That's a great idea. Like they have the Real Housewives of, name your city, Orange County, right? We need the True Crime Real Housewives. The Real Housewives of True Crime. So did they do a viewing in the coffin where Stacy put stuff in the coffin? Then they had him cremated. I don't think I got to that part yet. So I will be on the lookout. I will be on the lookout for that. I just know that's an option, that it could happen that way.
All right, we are on the record in State v. Coburger,
right.
CR
Here we go.
0124-31665.
I'm going off. I'm going to let us all listen to it, and
Present
I will be
today,
back. I mean, I'm
by
staying on
video
live, but taking
is the
myself down.
defendant in custody with counsel, Ms. Taylor, Ms. Barlow, and Ms. Massoth. State is represented by Mr. Thompson, Mr. Hurwitz, and Ms. Jennings. On behalf of the media petitioners, we have Ms. Olson and Mr. Pedersen. Today's hearing is to discuss the media's request to terminate the non-dissemination order. The state filed a response indicating it was no longer objecting to that, and the defense did file an objection indicating that they do have a continued objection to lifting the non-dissemination order. I've read the briefs that have been provided by the parties, and I'm going to attempt to shortcut things here a little bit by asking whether the defense, who is the objecting party, has anything additional to add beyond what it had in its briefing before. I don't know that I need to hear from, frankly, the petitioner. I think the briefing was adequate, so let me just start with Ms. Taylor to see anything else she wants to add.
Your Honor, there is not, but if there's further argument, Ms. Barlow will be making that argument on behalf of the defense.
All right. And to be fair, Ms. Olson, was there anything you felt was important to add that was not contained within your briefing?
Your Honor, we would just briefly say in response to the defendant's brief, we certainly understand the expressed concern about the media coverage of their client. We don't think continuing the non-dissemination order helps that at all. It simply continues to limit the ability of the members of the press to reach out to the people who know the most about the case. It doesn't obligate them to say anything. We also understand that they expressed that there was a due process right related to the sentencing. I read the case that they submitted. I think that there is obviously a due process right at sentencing, but I don't think that case is really it doesn't provide any guidance to the court here, because that was about information provided to the court. And given the very limited scope, and we understand it's very important, but given the very limited scope of what's to be decided at the sentencing, we don't think the arguments that Mr. Koberger made should outweigh at this stage the First Amendment rights of our clients. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, in light of that response by the media outlets or interested outlets, Ms. Barlow, do you want to add anything?
I would only say, Your Honor, as this court is well aware, the publicity in this case is so extensive and emotions are already so high that adding fuel to the fire of media interviews or a rush to interview people as they leave the courthouse or enter the courthouse would only increase the concerns that the defense has. And even though the plea has a specific sentence attached to it, as this court is well aware things happen in plea hearings and, sentencing hearings. And to minimize the possibility of that, we request that this order stay in place.
All right, thank you. All right, as the court has considered the petition, frankly, the court was prepared at the time the plea was entered to lift the non-dissemination order in order to give the parties time to evaluate that and to ensure I wasn't missing anything. When both sides objected, I agreed to continue the non-dissemination order. I also indicated that I would have the potential to look at that again before sentencing, because frankly, I anticipated the motion from somebody, in this case, the Ms. Olson and her clients, was likely to be coming. At this point, I do not believe the purpose of the non-dissemination order, the primary purpose, which is to ensure that we can seat a impartial jury, is any longer at play. The concerns identified by the defendant, while certainly not to minimize those, they are concerns and they are significant concerns. I do not think, however, the non-dissemination order and the right of the public to information is outweighed or outweighs those rights, I should say. And frankly, I don't think that lifting the non-dissemination order will meaningfully impact those concerns. I mean, the media frenzy, as it has been described, will continue regardless. It is a little bit like a, water will find low ground. In this case, the media is going to write about something about this case. The lifting the non-dissemination order does not require the counsel or others who were previously bound by it to speak. And the state has indicated they don't intend to until after the sentencing. And certainly I would hope that the media interests would respect those positions and give people the space that they need and request. In terms of, for example, the defendant's family and others coming and going at the sentencing, we intend to have, as we did before, appropriate security measures in place to ensure that they, as well as the victims, are allowed to get in and out unscathed by the media, if that's what they wish to do, or if they wish to speak to the media, they can do that as well. At this point, I just don't think that I can justify the continuation of the non-dissemination order. I think the rights of the public to information in this case is paramount, given the fact that a plea has been entered in this case, and so I'm going to lift the non-dissemination order. But I want to point out what that means and what it doesn't mean. So obviously nobody's required to speak to the media, first of all. Second of all, I want to be clear that the court's prior preservation order to the parties is not lifted and continues to stay in place. And so it's important to understand that those obligations still exist. And then the other thing I want to point out is that by lifting the non-dissemination order, that does not convert sealed documents to unsealed documents. Documents previously sealed by the court are still sealed. Now, I see the media also filed a petition to be heard to unseal everything. I'm denying that outright. The request to intervene, because I think it's premature at this point. So the court will its intent is to, after sentencing, begin the process of reviewing all the sealed material in this case to determine what should be unsealed and what should not be unsealed. That process will include an opportunity for counsel to register any objections to unsealing documents, specific documents, and request to redact certain sealed documents before they are unsealed, or unseal them in a redacted form. I intend to do that in groupings of documents at a time. As I sit here now, my thought is I'm going to start from newest to oldest because those are the ones that I have the most working knowledge of as to the reason for the sealing of the documents, as well as the content of those documents. And so I think I can get through those more quickly. As we move backward in time, it's going to take further, more extensive review by the court to figure out, to obviously review the content of those documents, listen to those hearings, et cetera, and determine why they were sealed and whether that rationale still is necessary, or that rationale still requires the documents to maintain that sealed status. And so before everybody gets out their pen and paper and sends in public records requests, understand those will be denied for sealed records until they are unsealed. And that process is going to take time. And I'm not talking days. I'm probably not talking weeks for that to be accomplished. So I hope people understand patience will be required to get through that, as I'm going to have to review those myself to make those decisions. Now, we may be able to speed things up if neither party objects to groupings of documents or specific documents being unsealed. But it's important to review those because those documents may include information that, pursuant to Rule 32, are not to be made public, including birth dates, social securities, information about minors and victims, and information that would be essentially inappropriate to unseal, including protection of individuals from undue harassment, et cetera. And so that's just going to take time. In addition, I'm unlikely to unseal much until after sentencing and after the appeals period has run. Now, I recognize the plea agreement includes a waiver of the right to appeal, but as the parties probably know, the U.S. Supreme Court in Garza versus Idaho has indicated the fact that a defendant waives the right to appeal doesn't mean they don't have the right to appeal. And so it may affect the outcome of that appeal, and it may affect the underlying case and the plea agreement. But nonetheless, the right to appeal does not go away because of the waiver. And so I think it's important for that time period to also play itself out to see that it goes the way that I think people intend and expect it to. And so I will be entering an order in the next week or so outlining the process for the review of the sealed records. And counsel will need to maintain a presence in the case in order to review those materials as they are proposed to be unsealed by the court. Because the timeline that I will likely give you will not be, I suspect, extensive as for each group of records. So I might give you 14 days, for example, to provide a response as to a group of, a dozen or a couple dozen records at a time. So just sort of heads up and fair play with respect to that. Any questions by the parties about the ruling today?
Not from the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
No questions from the defense. Thank you.
So Olson, do you have any questions?
And I don't, Your Honor. I wasn't certain if I was included within the parties. I would just say I think that the court's proposed manner of moving forward on the sealed records will likely largely address our interests. And we appreciate the court setting that out in this hearing today.
Yeah. If certain records after review maintain their sealed status, it would be at that point that I would entertain requests for me to consider that more formally and to have a voice in that. But I think until I've gone through that process, it's premature, which is why I don't intend to take up your motion, your more recent filed motion at this time. So,
Thank you, Your Honor. We appreciate that.
all right. And with that, then we are adjourned. Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, there we have it. So the non-dissemination order is lifted, but documents will not be. Oh, we'll get rid of that. Documents will not be unsealed. He's going to go through a long process of going through everything that's sealed and make sure that he is making sure what's contained in them. I'm sure he doesn't want to release anything graphic. People are already talking. Oh, what's the word, Meg? The first thing I said was, "Ray, here we come." So, but the gag order's lifted. So people are free to talk if they wish. He asked the media not to hound people because they can choose not to talk. The prosecution has already said that they're going to wait till after sentencing. Oh, right. Yeah, people are already talking in interviews. Okay. Yeah. I gotcha. So top on my list is Ray. Meg, what is Vargas's first name? Twiz and I couldn't remember. Do you know? I want her to speak about the DNA process. Yeah, the facts, and it's going to be hard to, we're just going to have to, whoever speaks, take their word for it until documents are unsealed. Gabriella, yes, thank you. Oh, that was driving me crazy. Gabriella Vargas. So yeah, I want to hear her. And definitely Ray. I think Ray is going to do it for me to be able to go completely. There's nothing suspicious going on, you know, or there is. I think Ray is going to be able to speak to that for me. I kept wanting to call her Elizabeth. Me too. I did that on my walk yesterday. I did a walk and talk video and I said Elizabeth Vargas and it took me a couple of minutes and I go, wait, no, that's the news lady. So I caught myself, but then I couldn't figure out her name. Gabrielle, I have to remember that. I have a friend whose daughter is named that, so I'll remember. All right. Well, hopefully the interviews begin. Mainstream media is going to start getting their hands on people. So hopefully we're going to find out some more information and go from there and see what happens. You know, I'm glad because when they have that sentencing, people will be able to speak freely afterwards, you know, have that set up outside on the courthouse steps and catch people on the way out. And we'll be able to hear, you know, lots of emotions, I'm sure, and maybe some information. Yeah. So you said, I think there is sus stuff going on. And I think Ray called it out. Hence why Hitler called him a conspiracy theorist. I could not believe he said that. And yeah, I kept saying, like, that was pretty, bold of Ray to put out there that they were, I mean, he made it clear that they had access to the information and they should have the information and they're not sharing and turning over the information. So what came of that? Did the information not show what he thought? Did he get it? And the information didn't show what he thought it was going to show? Did he get the information and it does show, but there's so many roadblocks in the way? He wasn't even allowed to be heard. Maybe that wasn't going to be admitted. Lots of stuff to find out. Skull, did you see my comment above? I said, keep it PG-13 in here. He said he didn't appreciate his conspiracy theorist language used, that he didn't. Throwing people under the bus. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole issue with the feds too, how they did things, and that's debates, right? Is it okay to do anything at any cost and violate rights and all of that to get bad guys off the streets? Is it not? Like, that's a debate. People are going to have different issues about that. I think it's easy to sit back and say, how wrong that is for them to do and not follow the correct procedures and policies. But then I think if it was my kid, I'd be like, do whatever you need to do. None of us want a guilty person roaming the streets. So I would just think if you can do it the shady way, find a way to do it the right way. I don't know. That's a big hot topic. It's okay. You're okay. I can take it. It's just, I think the court is low key is trying to get more views. Leaving this clickbait. Yeah. I wonder if the court can monetize their channel. They do need funding, right? I know, Meg P. I like to say I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I have been questioning a lot of things lately. Social media has allowed us to have more power as the people, as citizens, to vet things out on our own if we can, and sharing that information. I think that's why places like TikTok, like they're going after TikTok hard, and that's because it's immediate, easy access to people all over the world and access to information we don't traditionally, historically, we would never have access to that because we only had newspapers and the mainstream media news, and they told us what they wanted to tell us. So they've lost control over that. So I think we should fight hard to keep it. Not just TikTok, but all social media. There's going to be an inundation of creators coming over here. There already are. They're coming to the tube because if they're going to create like just a United States version, and that just defeats the point. I love TikTok. A lot of people concealed their lives just now. What do you mean? Like live streams? Doesn't a conspiracy theorist have to be actively conspiring against someone? I think I take the word conspiracy theory as like not trusting the man's uh explanation of things, whatever they want us to believe, or whether it's law enforcement or government or someone in power. You did on TikTok? Good for you. I have we have a page, but I have to like I got to start focusing on it. Did you have to get into the creator? What's that called? The creator club, the creator something? Tell me what you meant by a lot of people concealed their lives just now. What do you mean by that? Oh, the courses. Okay. Yeah, I think you told me that before. Yeah. Cool. Ooh, you can bypass the 1,000 requirement. All right. Do you know anybody listening? Carlos and I would greatly appreciate it if you have not subscribed. I know everybody joining me now has been very supportive of us. We appreciate that. But anybody watching this on replay, we are 15 subscribers away from that 1,000 mark. And it's been a long journey for us. And we've been trying to do it organically. So please share this. And we appreciate it if people could subscribe. It's free. Yeah, I'll find you on there for sure, Skull. Why would people conceal their live streams? You mean like all the conspiracy theories that they were talking about? Now they're like trying to backtrack? You're 280 away? All right. Well, there we have it. Let's go see who is going to start talking first. News Nation might be interesting tonight. And I know that over at Truth and Transparency, she's supposed to get the first Cy interview, I believe. So shout out to her. And I'll definitely be tuning in for that. I think everybody on YouTube will be. So I can't wait for that. Carlos and I are supposed to record tonight to talk about the Prime Video docu-series. So that'll be coming out probably late weekend. Because we have some events we have to go attend coming up this weekend. So thanks for joining me. And I'm sure I'll see you in some other chats. Bye, everybody.